Welcome back to Bones, Bourbon, Barley, and Brass. We're a lifestyle channel where we discuss interesting things. And we have a very interesting episode for you today. We have Garrison Brothers Small Batch Bourbon Whiskey. But before we begin with this great Texas bourbon, let's thank our sponsors, our good friends at Toro Land and Ranch Company, www.torolandranch.com. They're an e-commerce platform with vacant land, livestock, working dogs, and soon-to-be apparel and goods. www.torolandranch.com. All right, we have a bit of a gem today. We have Garrison Brothers Texas Straight Bourbon from High, Texas, down by Fredericksburg. And this is 47% alcohol, certified Texas whiskey. Let's see, 94 proof. Every bottle of Garrison Brothers is overflowing with the finest gourmet grade ingredients on the planet. The nectar inside was made from a sweet mash bill and heat forged in the scorching Texas sun, extracting all the flavor possible from our new American white oak barrels, yielding a darker, richer, and fuller bourbon than any out there. Cooked, distilled, barreled, and bottled by Garrison Brothers Distillery in High, Texas. Drink like an adult, it says. Born and bred in High, Texas. And this one was corn variety, food grade number 1 white, from farms in South Texas, bottle number 31,318, release date 2026. And my wife and I have been there. It's an awesome tour. The gentleman who did the tour kind of looked like John Hammond from Jurassic Park. And it was kind of like, behold, Texas bourbon. So, awesome tour. Let's go ahead and crack this puppy open. A little bit of an Easter egg. They have a Texas star on here. I think you can see. They will let you bottle, they'll let you bottle the bourbon and do the wax dipping. They take volunteers. So, interesting stuff. Let's crack this open. This one's going to be a synthetic cork. So we won't have the issue that we had with the Breckenridge. Yeah, synthetic. So, smells good. All right, let's go ahead and give this a pour. Definitely got a deep amber color to it. Let's see, small batch bourbon. We don't source whiskey from anywhere else, and we never will. The relentless Texas heat is brutal. Out here, it's 100 degrees 9 months out of the year. Hotter in a steel barn. It might be crazy to buy the highest quality barrels and torture them in this heat, but doing so allows our bourbon to suck all the flavor it can in from our new American oak barrels. As it matures, the bourbon cycles through the wood's pores and crevices, soaking in the sugars from the sap, yielding an aroma brimming of butterscotch, nutmeg, and vanilla. Notes of fruit dominate the palate with hints of butter, whipped cream, angel food cake, and oak. The finish is smooth with chocolate and espresso notes. A true tour de force of flavor. Handcrafted from cork to corn, small batch bourbon is the flagship of legendary Texas bourbon, handcrafted with a sweet mash bill of number 1 food grade corn, wheat, and barley, aged in American white oak barrels under the scorching Texas sun. This 94 proof bourbon delivers bold and rich flavors, notes of golden apple, honey, floral, verbena, and saddle leather combined with a long engrossing finish. Perfect neat or in a bourbon forward cocktail. Small batch bourbon is a testament to Garrison Brothers' dedication to craftsmanship and the spirit of Texas. Tasty notes: Golden delicious apples drizzled with honey, sweet floral verbena, fresh cut grass, saddle leather, and cinnamon. Palate. I'm sorry, that was the nose. Palate. Tart orange hard candy, yellow lemon gumdrops, yellow pound cake, sugar cookies, smoky baking spices, and springtime honeysuckle. Finish long and complex, smoky tobacco, turning to sweet county fair caramel apple, sprinkled with walnuts and cinnamon, color deep golden amber. Well, let's re-observe the color real quick. We can see that deep golden amber. I get the apples and the leather. Very much the apples and the leather. All right, let's give it a taste. Cheers. Yep, I get the orange hard candy, sugar cookies, smoky baking spices. Let's give it another taste real quick. Trying to zero in on the finish. I get the smoky tobacco. I will say it's long and complex. Yeah. In terms of rating, if I had to rate this, I'm gonna rate this a 94 to 96, but I'm gonna hard stamp on the 94 because I think it's worthy of range. However, I could appreciate, due to how deeply it's aged, due to the Texas sun, and also it does get pretty cold in Texas for our winters. We don't get the snow that like Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Minnesota get near, but we do get bitter Arctic cold, and that does creep all the way down into hill country. So it allows that bourbon that has been completely leached into the oak to draw back out, thus making it heavily aged. So I can see, ultimately what I'm trying to say is I can see how Texas bourbon might not be as approachable as Kentucky bourbon. So I'm going to give it a 94. It's a little bit strong. It's a little bit smoky. But boy, do they make a damn good bourbon. So, again, hats off to Garrison Brothers. They have an awesome distilling experience. I encourage you to drive down to High if you're visiting Fredericksburg, if you're visiting Austin. Definitely well worth it to check out. Go on the tour, get some samples, buy some product, support a local business. So let's give this another taste. Yeah, this is good. They do have other bourbons. They have... So this is small batch. They have Honeydew, which is a honey-infused straight bourbon. A little lower proof. It's infused with wildflower honey. They have single barrel, 94 proof. They have Balmoria, which is 115 proof, aged 4 years in New American White Oak. then transferred to a second new American white oak. And boy, does it have an amber. If you go on their website, it has an absolute amber finish. The Texas Star has a little bit of turquoise blue on it. Then they have Guadalupe, which is port finish whiskey. Ladybird, after Lady Bird Johnson. Texas honey infused cognac bourbon. Then they have Laguna Madre, which is Limousin oak immersed straight bourbon. Very highly sought after. And then they have Cowboy bourbon at 146 proof. Uncut and unfiltered straight whiskey. Cowboy bourbon comes from Dan and Donna's favorite barrels. This is the most highly coveted bourbon whiskeys in America. It's the ultimate ambrosia. Interesting. Oh, and then, they have Sonora, which is straight bourbon finished in rye barrels, and then they have bottled and bonded. This is aged at least 6 years. And let's see. And then they have Boot Flask, which is their small batch bourbon in a ready-to-go container for weddings and such engagements. Oh, and they have limited releases. They have a Pedro Jimenez sherry cast finish. They have a Oloroso sherry cast finish. They have a Young Gun. Let's see. First expression and first bourbon to be made out of Kentucky. It made outside Kentucky. Estacado distillery only experimental, was aged for 4 years in American white oak barrels before being finished in Lotto Estacado port cast for 2 years. Hurricane Tough, made from 9 barrels we filled on the day Hurricane Harvey hit the coast. It's commemorative bourbon. High Rye, which is their rye bourbon. So they have quite a few different things. As far as what I've seen in the stores, I've seen small batch, I've seen honeydew, I've seen single barrel, I've seen Balmoria, I think. I know I've seen Ladybird, and I know I've seen bottled and bonded, and I think I might have seen Cowboy bourbon. So a lot of interesting things going on at Garrison Brothers. Check them out. Let's give it one last sip. Just a solid overall Texas bourbon. If you like this content, go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. Strongly encourage you to share this with your friends, particularly your bourbon aficionados, for lack of better words. We do have brass content. We did a double barrel episode with Colt Python and what was it? Woodford Reserve, to commemorate America's 250th birthday. We might do another America 250 episode. We will see. Have to see what's in the cards. I think we have some options, and we owe you some food content. So check out our channel. You could see how the channel has grown and aged. We've upgraded some of the equipment, some of the wares behind us. But yeah, until next time, cheers.